Hello. Hello, hello, howdy, hi, welcome. Come on in. You guys are kind of big. Let me make you slightly bigger before you all talk over me. Or smaller, rather. Hello, hi, welcome. Come on in. I'm not walking right, which is a small problem, but that's okay. No, I know how to fix that. Okay, but yeah, welcome. Hi, come on in. We're doing a field trip today. Can you hear me all right? You probably can. I worry about it sometimes. I feel like I look at my audio-o-meter and I'm too loud. And then the VOD comes out and everything is like a whisper. And I'm like, what the fuck? BGM is the worst one. I suck at background music. I need to get a DJ so I can just have them do my BGM for me. But welcome to the bus. We'll wait a moment so everyone can load in on the bus. And we can get started on a fun, cool field trip. In the meantime, let me stand up properly here. And then there's a way for me to also move myself that I will remember. But yeah, yippee, a field trip. Oh my gosh, isn't that exciting? They were going to prison. It's one of the buttons. There's a million buttons, and none of them do exactly what you think. But yeah, welcome. Come on in. I'm in the third dimension. This all came about because I was like, I want to do something in 3D. You know? Nope, that rotates me. Fascinatingly. There we go. Now I can stand. Yippee. Great. So now we're ready to do a field trip. I'm actually going to put myself on that side. What, honey? You can sit in the drawer with your brother if you want. You can sit on my chair if you want. You can sit on my bed. The world is your oyster as long as you don't sit in the floor where I gotta stand. I love you, my beloved. I'm talking to the cat. Hello, hello. We're going to Hyrule. Yippee! We're going to a couple of different Hyrules. That's the plan today. The plan is I want us to go eat, but I want us to go to as many of the mainline Hyrules. I'm petting my cat. Many of the mainline Hyrules as we can, with some exceptions. For example, an exception. If you see me do weird stuff, that's just me bending down. One of the big exceptions is actually going to be Zelda 2. Because it was ugly. And Skyward Sword, because it was also pretty dang ugly. But also, because I'm moving over here, and I'm moving you guys. Also, because Skyward Sword doesn't really have Hyrule, you know? Because it sucks. But I think that's enough of the preambling. Let's go on the field trip. Vincent, are you ready? Or are you going to be a goofy goober down there the whole time? He looked away from me. Can we take a pit stop at Low Rule? No low rules today. So, but yeah, let's get on the bus and everything, get driving on over to Hyrule. Everyone sing with me. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. Great job, guys. Got something in the mail. Well, that's fun. So let's everyone get off the bus. Everyone file off of the bus awkwardly and get ready to talk about Zelda 1 Hyrule. So, I'm all nervous because Vincent's watching me. So, Zelda 1 is the first ever Hyrule, obviously. Groundbreaking in a million ways. Incredibly imperative to the Zelda... to the Zelda franchise. There we go. And so it established a lot of things. But what's actually really interesting about Zelda 1 is how, shitty it is. Do they have a Buc-ee's? They don't have a Buc-ee's. See, this is how rural it is in Zelda 1. No Buc-ee's. So yeah, Zelda 1 it established a whole dang lot, but it's really fucking ugly, and it's why I have pretty artwork of it. Here is Link. There is the field. You want to talk to chat? Vincent's my co-pilot today, apparently. Be cute and good. Shut up. I'm working. Yeah, it's really craggy and ugly. And I've got some fun facts about almost all of the Hyrules that we're going to be visiting today. Zelda 1, this one's interesting. There is no castle to visit in Zelda 1. It's just kind of fields. There is no settlements in Zelda 1. It's really, really crappy and ass. But specifically no Hyrule Castle. Which leads people to assuming that it might actually just be an island and not the full Hyrule field. Which makes sense because it's also got a shitload of water and it's kind of just like a craggy mountain. This is a hilarious image, honestly, because it makes it look like Hyrule is lush forests and beautiful rivers. But that's the part that you're actually going to see most of. Mountains. It is shitty, craggy little mountains. I'm going to move you guys so we can take a gander at a map. Oh, wow. I've got maps for all the different Hyrules. I'll make you over there. So let's pull up the Zelda 1 map. Wow, sure is big, isn't it? We can zoom in and take a gander at things specifically. Zelda 1 Hyrule map sucks, though. Oh, we don't get lost. It really do suck. What are we doing? We're on a field trip. And this is our first stop. Hyrule 1. Hyrule 1. Zelda 1. Hyrule Field. But yeah, pay attention to look at all this mountain. There's mountains everywhere. Mountain, mountain, mountain. There's a small little bit of forest over here on this side. But for the most part, it's water and mountains. And people assume, so you can see there's water all the way on that far side. Don't look at me like that. Vincent. You can see water all the way on the far side. And then there's kind of mountains just kind of everywhere else. And so people are assuming this is actually just an island of the greater Hyrule field. Which do make sense, because it's such an ugly terrain. What's with the spooky gray area? That is a graveyard. So unique, certainly. But goddamn, if you've ever seen gameplay of Zelda 1, you will have noticed how often you are looking at this brown color. And it's funny, because the first screen, this square, right there, that's where you start the game. And so it's easy to think that Zelda 1 is nothing but lush green forests. I'm bending down to pet Vincent. But it's really not. It is predominantly mountainous terrain, which is just really fascinating. And I think it adds to how Hyrule feels very uninhabitable. It's all monsters and no people, and it makes Hyrule feel hard to rescue. It's difficult to care about this Hyrule because it feels like a wasteland. And goddamn Fallout has wastelands with more energy than this. Why'd you get a Home Depot ad? I don't choose them. I think often they're relevant to your Google searches. But I don't know how Twitch works. Miss Twiins, will there be a test at the end of this? Yes. So you better pay attention. Why the in-game map is even worse because of the gray block. No, I like the gray block. That's the most interesting part of the map. The most I've interacted with Zelda 1 is through Deltarune. Fascinating. That's quite frankly not interacting with Zelda. Growing up, I had an NES, so I've tried playing Zelda 1 and 2. And I actually do like Zelda 2 better. It was easier to play. At least at the beginning, early on, it's easy to play. But Zelda 1 is a classic. I think the speedrun for it, you finish in like 26 minutes. But yeah, I think it's fascinating that it establishes so much, like the Deku Tree and Death Mountain and all these environs and critters within the environs, and yet it feels so empty and lifeless. So humble beginnings for the great Hyrule Field, I must say. I had Zelda 1 on my Wii, but one of the most boring games I've played. Yeah, the NES, listen, I'm impressed that video games took off like how they did. I'm an N64 gal. And moving backwards to the NES, that's tough. Even the SNES was great. I loved the SNES. That was at my great-grandma's house. But yeah, things were really tough back in the NES era. But let's everyone hop back onto the bus, and we can shove off to the next Hyrule, which is not going to be Hyrule 2, or Zelda 2, because like I said, the map is kind of boring. So let's head on in, so we can wander towards the next Hyrule. I didn't even know Zelda 1 had a map. When I first tried the first Zelda, I got lost on the first level, wow, what are you jumping for? Just because how I felt I was looping at the same level. It does feel like you're looping. It really does. Everyone get on the bus. Nice. Welcome back onto the bus. Yeah, it does feel like you're looping. That's actually a little bonus factoid. So the EN version of the game, they released it with a map. With the game, like part of your manual, you got a map, and it also included like where to go for the first dungeon and lots of hints and tricks as to like how to progress. And it's because they were worried you would get lost, and without any kind of direction as to where to go. Vincent, I need you to calm down. See, this is not calm. You're being too silly. Too silly for a field trip stream where I'm standing. So yeah, little bonus factoid is yeah, it is hard and it does feel like you're looping. Even though you don't, I don't think you can loop the map. I'm fairly certain there are edges on all the like you can't loop it, but it does feel like you end up looping it. So yeah, it's crazy. I forgot to ask, will you visit the land of Termina on this trip? Termina is our one exception on the Hyrule rule. Yes, we will be visiting it, because I think it's interesting. Even though I haven't played Majora's Mask, Termina is interesting. Sorry, I closed my door slightly so Vincent could maybe calm the fuck down. Little crazy boy. I didn't even know. Oh no, yeah, I read that one. Did a map come with Castlevania? I wouldn't know. Haven't played a Castlevania. But now that we've done all of our chit-chatting, we can probably wander off the bus, because we've made it to our next stop. Wow, it's A Link to the Past. I've never played this game, but people really like it, and I like the color palette of A Link to the Past. Hyrule does feel really lush, and it's a deep kind of green that it's got. This is really saturated, and it does a good job contrasting with the dark world that is kind of the duality of A Link to the Past. You know, the dark world, everything's kind of purple and gray, and so Hyrule feels really bright for a reason without being pastel about it. You know, even though this green is really saturated, it's a deep feeling green. It makes everything feel quite rainy. It feels like the sun's not out. But I think it's doing the job well. Also, bonus fact, you can see here that Link has pink hair. I've always liked pink hair Link. I think he should have pink hair in the next game. Oh. Sorry, I was getting my water there. So, a cool Hyrule. I'm not super familiar with it, but we have a map of it still. So we can take a gander at the Hyrule map. Oh my gosh. Now I'm gonna smooge myself over slightly. Oh, if I can remember how. No. There we go. Wow, it's me. Okay. Okay. So the Hyrule map. It's the map. So, we've got a lot more detail going on here. It feels so much smaller, but it feels more cohesive than Zelda 1 for sure. And look, a castle. We actually have castles. Now, Castletown is in the center. There's still a lot of mountain area, though. The forest is kind of crudged into the corner like this. And then we got desert and mountains, and then like a different mountain on the other side. And the Lake Hylia is tiny down there. It's a lot of fields and a lot of mountains. This trend will continue for a while with Hyrule's, where Hyrule feels so foresty, but it's not. I played Link to the Past on my 3DS at the time, and always adore the pixel art style. It's nice. Listen, I didn't grow up with this. I haven't played it. I understand why people like this game so much. It is a good one. And here are some facts about it. So, this game actually introduced Kakariko, the town that you can see right here, and like Lake Hylia. So not only is basically every song that's important to Zelda originates from this game, but also two humongous landmarks, Lake Hylia and Kakariko, started here. You can't deny. Despite the totally arbitrary Ocarina of Time versus Link to the Past argument, you can't deny that this is a pillar in the Zelda lore kind of timeline of it all. It's important and gave us so many elements that are intrinsic to a game feeling like Zelda today. I'm petting my cat, being a goober. Yeah, a village and a castle? Look at this is a Hyrule worth saving. It feels like there's people actually living here. It is predominantly uninhabited, but just having one village, one castle with a princess to save, gives it so much more life. And I like that proceeding forward, Zeldas will have Hyrules with more people in them, because I figured out how to do that. Much knowledge. I know I'm incredibly smart. Professor Twiins, that's what you all can call me. I don't even think any of you know the song. You can call me Janet, Miss Jackson if you're nasty. That song, that's Nasty Boys by Janet Jackson, and that song is really supported by having a banging beat. That song itself is like incredibly mid. The beat though saves it. Miss Twiins, are you a licensed professor? You don't need a license to profess. You should be worried about if I have a license to be driving this bus. But I have more facts about Link to the Past, actually. It also introduced the name Ganondorf. Previously, he was just called Ganon. This is the first game where Mr. Dorf was officially titled as such. So pretty dang neato. Thought Miss Allison drove the bus. Oh no, you're not that lucky. I drive the bus, then I get out and I tell you about facts about Hyrule. So, yeah, great map as well. I'm gonna be talking about the maps quite a bit in terms of like, you know, what's on Hyrule. But also, look at this map. Clear, understandable. This is the in-game map, and I can tell where I'm going. And it being at this sort of isometric kind of angle makes it really, readable. Conducive to gameplay. I know where I can go, and how much elevation things have. Despite the pixel art style. Real flippinito, if you ask me. So yeah, a swell Hyrule. 10 out of 10 would visit again, as long as they're, it's this and not the Dark World. But let's everyone hop back onto the bus and we can head off to the next Zelda and see what we get next time. Onto the bus, everyone. Oof. Are you enjoying the field trip? I was very excited at this idea, despite having predominantly no real plans, other than just me yapping about Hyrule. Professor Twiins, will there be a section on the quiz dedicated to Zelda's CDIs, Hyrule or Gamelon? Okay, I actually really did think about including one of the CDI Zeldas in this field trip, but they're not set in Hyrule. They're set in these far off lands, so I technically really couldn't include them. The only reason why Termina gets that pass is because it's the Hyrule of a different world. But see, Zelda CDIs actually just don't take place in Hyrule. So no, great question. Because I would have loved to regale you with facts about those crappy ass games. Those animations befuddle me. They look like they must have been made in MS Paint, and that's not a knock on them. I'm familiar with MS Paint. And that's what they look like. And that's okay, but it's weird that they gave themselves way too much work in relation to those animations. The Zelda CDI animations, every frame something is moving. In a world where they could have just had, bop, 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 a still character with their mouth going up and down. I mean, I respect the amount of work they put into it, because objectively, those animations are the best part of those games. Really the only reason to play. Why do you boys want to play now? Why are both of you being goofy gumbos now that I'm streaming? Do you want to be on stream? Do either of you want to say hi to chat? Or do you want to just be little creepos in the corner? Just pretend there's two cats on the bus. Professor Twiins, how much does the pop quiz affect our grade? The pop quiz is worth 73% of your grade. So, it's a huge portion. Zelda CDI, I only knew them through memes and YouTube poops. And quite frankly, I think that's the only way we need to know them. I don't think you need to actually play them. Watch the Game Grumps play them at best, and then there you go. But yeah, the wheels on the bus go round and round all through the town, and we've made it to Ocarina of Time. Wow. Everyone knows I like Ocarina. My favorite Zelda. I'm not going to say it's the best one, but it is my favorite. And what a crappy Hyrule field. Look at this. There's maybe 3 trees across the whole field, and it's all it's this shitty patchy grass too. They can't even water the field or anything. It looks like it gets a lot of foot traffic, despite it not. There's one man running around and on a set path as well, and you can see these paths that he runs on. Ooh, my hair's really in the way. You can see these paths where foot traffic would actually be. But Hyrule Field is just fucking ugly in this game, and people go on about how it's boring, and yeah, it is. Luckily, it's also, about 2 feet big. It's so tiny. It's minuscule, microscopic. It is easy to pass Hyrule Field quickly, which thank God, because at the end of the day, all it really is something between a current destination and a future destination, so that it doesn't feel too video gamey. Hyrule Field is, at the end of the day, the illusion of a world, so that it doesn't feel like you're going from level to level. And what affects the other 27% of our grade? How funny you are. You do get extra points if you donate any money to me. I can be bought. That being said, only donate if you want to, actually. The grass kind of looks dead a bit. It does! This isn't even... Ganon hasn't even taken over or anything. It's just like this. So let's grab the map. I love the Ocarina of Time map. Look at how pretty this is. It's gorgeous. I love this, painted look. The clouds kind of surrounding it does a good job of hiding the borders. And I can clearly tell what everything is. The color, everything's clearly marked, and it helps that it's small. you know, as you progress, games will get bigger, and so it's harder to have one cohesive map all at once. But, this is just gorgeous. And what's interesting is looking at this map actually betrays some interesting facts about how, so Hyrule Field has the grass, and everything else is a completely different environment. We have a lake, we have Death Mountain, we have the forest, or the forest and the desert, and everything is separated. And yet, it all works somehow. Despite you shift directly from Hyrule Field to like a wasteland as you enter the desert, and it just feels right. And maybe it's because it is video gamey. Because in old games like this, that's just how it is. You walk through a door and suddenly you're in a forest. You walk, you take a step in this direction and now the floor is brown and you're not in a field anymore. But it's cool. I like it. Little facts about Ocarina of Time, by the way. There's only one. The areas are protected by spiritual stones. And that's not effectively, that's a lore fact, really. There weren't any fun facts about actually Hyrule. Zora's domain is the source of water for everyone. I do know that. So everyone is technically drinking the water the Zoras swim around in. And I like to think that there's some kind of, like, lore element to that. Like, Zoras have purifying bullshits in their scales, which makes the water, like, drinkable and stuff. I don't know. But why not have fun if you can? But yeah, all the different areas are protected by spiritual stones. So, but what a shame that 3 of them are actually all right next to each other. Let me scoot myself over slightly so I can demonstrate this. No, there we go. Okay. So, there's a spiritual stone in Lost Woods, and there's one in Death Valley, or Death Mountain, and there's one in Zora's Domain. So they're all on the right side of the map here. But, like, the Gerudos and Lake Hylia are completely unprotected. They don't have spiritual stones. And so, basically, the long and short of it is the goddesses should have spread out the spiritual stones more. They should have put one. I guess, you can argue that Lake Hylia is connected to Zora's domain, but it just feels like we're favoring a side. Maybe there's some lore element to that about how the Gerudos worship the goddess of the sand, and so that's why they don't get a spiritual stone, because they are not within the Golden Goddess's pantheon. But also, there's the theory that the Goddess of the Sand is actually Din. But that's for theory crafters. Just Brita filters, exactly. This is where they probably first introduced Epona the horse. I did not see that fact on the wiki. It's, to my knowledge, the introduction of Epona as a horse. The name Epona, I'm fairly certain, actually originates as one of the towns in Zelda 2. Most important names do come from Zelda 2, which is fascinating. Like Mido is one of the villages, etc. But I believe you're right. As a horse, this establishes Epona, and it makes sense. I mean, Lon Lon Ranch is right there. Right in the center. So, love the horse. Good horse. So everyone drink Zora's bathwater. Got it. Exactly. So yeah, it's a lush Hyrule. It's a thriving Hyrule. It's a good one for Ganon to try to take over. Because everything is pretty and doing well, other than this crappy fucking grass. But yeah, a small but succinct Hyrule field that ultimately is just a way to get to all the other interesting things in this world. So I like it. I like it despite how boring it is. It is easy to find yourself just wandering Hyrule Field, even knowing that there's nothing to do here. So let's get back on the bus, and we can chugga 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 choo choo on over to the next location. Wowie wow willikers. Professor Twiins is the only person I know who says it Epona instead of Epona instead of Epona. Yeah, listen. I don't know, man. We're lucky I can say Pokemon names right. Epona, Epona. It is what it is. And you know, you guys have like you've like corrected me and stuff so much about it that at this point I can't even remember like what I say and what the internet says. They're just interchangeable now. I pronounce it e-pony. The farmer actually just told Link to get up on her in a funny accent, and Link misheard him. Or Ink. Yeah, Link. Get up on her. Oh, get upon her? Okay, I could, yeah. Lin Ranch was always my favorite part of Ocarina of Time. As a kid, I remember playing on my mom's file, because she was basically done with the game. She just had to go fight Ganon. And so I would run around on Lin Ranch and pretend that, like, Link was, like, staying with them on the ranch, falling in love with Malon. I was a Link X Malon shipper all day. She was the prettiest one. I like Malon a whole lot. I wish she'd come back. That's one that, like, we've gotten, like allusions to Lon Ranch and Malon before, but she herself hasn't really returned as like a character in future games, and I'd love for her to come back. I really would. I think it'd be fun. And I think everyone else would be like, oh my god! So, yeah, just do it. For me. It's fan service for me, because I'm in charge. But we are almost at our next stop. It is going to be Termina, so everyone you gotta stay next to the bus, because Termina is dangerous. So, no wandering off. Also, if you have a snack, you do need to share it with me, illegally. You need to give me a bite of whatever it is you're snacking on. I don't make the rules, it was on the form. You signed the form. You signed the form, you all brought your permission slips. And on it, it said that you had to give me your snacks. So, you can fork those over whenever you get hungry. Was means you have given up the battle. You want honey graham crackers? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Gimme. Ooh. So, everyone, get off the bus, stay close to the bus, you need to buddy up here in Termina, so whoever you are sitting next to, hold hands, and you do not let each other go, and stay with your buddy. So everyone find your buddy as we get off the bus, into Termina! Wow. Termina! This is the alternate universe that Link finds himself fallen into in Majora's Mask. And you know what's fascinating? Despite Termina and Majora's Mask in general having a very, oh, thank you so much, Taxton Max, what a cool name. Hope you're enjoying the field trip. Despite Termina being, and Majora's Mask being overall quite dark, significantly darker than Ocarina of Time, and basically, arguably is the darkest Zelda game still to date, this place is beautiful. Look at this grass. That's like real grass. That's pretty well-watered grass. That's way better than Ocarina of Time's Hyrule field grass. I love seeing you guys buddying up. Give me your hand, Excalibur. Fine, Professor Twiins, here's an extra bag of mini Nilla wafers. Fuck yes. Mini? I don't think I've ever had the mini ones. I might eat the grass. I suggest against eating the grass. It often has pesticides in it. But you can do whatever you want on a technicality, as long as you're holding your buddy's hand. But yeah, look at how pretty this place. I've not played Majora's Mask. I've played most of the first day, and I don't think I even actually finished the first day. It stressed me out. And I was playing it on the Wii U, like the Wii U Virtual Shop. So the controls I wasn't fucking with it. I believe it's available on the Nintendo eShop now, isn't it? Maybe I'll play it on stream and we can all play it together, because I've never played it before. But I also feel like it would stress me out. More flavor. You want a souvenir? We'll get to the souvenir shop at the end of the stream, don't worry. So someone walk with me before I try stealing a horse. Never played it. Yeah, I didn't have it growing up. But that's okay, because, I mean, it needed the expansion pack anyway. We didn't have that, didn't it? I feel like it did. When people tell me to go outside and touch grass, I didn't think they meant it literally. Let's take a gander at the map. So I'm not super, like I said, not super familiar with Majora's Mask. I think this map is a downgrade from Ocarina's, I gotta be honest. In terms of, like, it's very pretty art. I'm fairly certain this is the in-game map. When I googled it, this is what I got. So, yeah, but, I don't know, it just feels kind of featureless. It feels like we're missing all the labels to things, but also it's like, there's Termina. There's a swamp. That's Death Mountain. Over here's where the Zoras hang out, and then over there is Akana Valley. Like, it is the smallest Zelda game in terms of only having 4 dungeons. So, it makes sense that the map isn't super varied. It's interesting, this map makes it really clear, kind of like how we talked about that video gamey sudden jump into a new, environ. This map makes it way more obvious, especially the edge between snowy Death Mountain and the desert Akana Valley. It's just like, it feels really abrupt. And which is interesting, because I think playing the game, it doesn't feel too aggressive about it. But again, I'll have to actually judge for myself at some point and actually grow a pair and play the video game if I want to have so many opinions about it. But I like the map, I just think I don't like it as much as the Ocarina one. It feels less like a place and more like a dream. It's super weird not seeing the creepy moon staring. Oh yeah, the screenshot doesn't have the moon in it. How fun. I didn't even think about that. I was just looking for, I googled Hyrule Field, and I picked one that showed the field the best. There's a gift shop, but it just sells t-shirts with pictures of Twiins on the bus. It's very pretty, but it doesn't show any predominant locations. Exactly. But also, the game kind of, like, doesn't have any. So how much can you really judge a map like this? I'll put the map back down, because it's, you know, there's not much to look at here. And we can take a gander at the pretty field again, while I give you some facts about Majora's Mask. Hang on, what's this? Tour guide Twiins. Here's the pretty fields on the left, and on the right is the field of dead bodies from a battle Ganondorf was a part of. So, Majora's Mask, fun factoids. So obviously, this is not Hyrule. I don't know why I wrote that down. As if you all wouldn't fucking know. Oh, this is, okay. So, this one's, two actually really good fun facts, though. First up, this introduced the monkeys into the forest. So you might know in Twilight Princess, a big part of the forest temple, the first one, is befriending and working with the monkeys in the forest. Hey, that's fun because the monkeys are established here, in Termina, not even in Hyrule, which begs to question how much overlap is there between Termina and Hyrule at the end of the day anyway. I don't know, I feel like it's an underexplored element to Termina. Everyone has kind of just accepted that, oh, it's just a, you know, Link falls into a portal to a different land, or it's a dream where he's dealing with grief. But I think there's more options we could be exploring, and I think those monkeys are a good hint towards how maybe Termina and Hyrule aren't so disconnected as we may originally thought. The other fun fact is this is the first game where Link can kill somebody that isn't a bad guy. So, at one point, there is a thief that steals something, I think it's a mask, from an old woman. And you can stop that thief to gain access to that mask. And there's a couple of ways you can stop that thief. But most interestingly, And I think this actually won't work. I think you only get rupees if you do it this way. But, you can blow him up. He has a bag of bombs on his back. And you can shoot him with an arrow, or with your hook shot, or with a bomb, and he explodes. And he just dies. And so it's the first game where Link can kill someone who is not an overt bad guy. He may be a thief, but that doesn't make him, like, a villain. Death Mountain sounds safe. Oh yeah, it's really great. You know, as long as you avoid the volcanoes, then you'll be, okay. Can I eat the monkey? The monkeys are friends, not food. He just fell to the other side of the world. You know, I that do seem to be the general consensus with it, doesn't it? There's the Snowhead region, Great Bay region, Ikana region, and Woodfall region, and Clocktown. Right. Not, like, Kokiri Forest, and it's not technically Death Mountain, but I wouldn't know. Because I'm a loser who hasn't played this game. Everyone make sure you still have your buddy with you. Hand me your snacks as you get on the bus, and we can shimmy on over to the next Hyrule. So, hold hands as you get on the bus, and everyone can sit down, and we can shimmy and shake to our next destination. Lava's just spicy cheese. You know, okay. Have you ever seen those videos of people, like, collecting lava? And it's like, or magma, I guess. And so it's like kind of cooled on the top, cooled, you know, in air quotes, where it's black on the top and then they like kind of like scoop it up and it reveals the molten bullshit, red hot orange bullshit, and they like scoop it into like a flame retardant bucket. And I feel like I always see comments that's like, I want to eat it. And I'm like, I understand. But also, imagine, that would be so awful. Burning your tongue on magma would be just terrible. So, I don't know, man. Sometimes I think about that. Sometimes I'll just be at work and I'll be like, what if you ate magma? Okay, did everyone get on? Everyone have their buddy? Did we lose somebody at Termina? Because if we did, there's really nothing we can do about it. Oh yeah, my cheese empanada? Fuck yes. Thank you. Wait, I don't have a buddy? Uh-oh. Well, Cupcake the demon. Glad you didn't get taken. Taken by the everything. Everything can kill you. The aliens, probably. The aliens that take the cows. Ikana is stated to be a region ruled by a foreign kingdom that fell long ago. It's true. I think we should bring Ikanans back. We probably wouldn't because they are Termina, but also Gorons and Zoras are in Termina, so why not have Ikanans? I think it'd be neato. I'd love to get to explore Ikana and its culture more. If we can keep bringing Rito back, then yeah, fucking why not? My buddy. Slapping the side of the bus. Wait! Alright. Everyone's gotten on. And we can... How's the rest of that song go? Cause like there's the wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. All through the town. What other features are on the bus? The children on the bus go, ah, all through the town. What an obnoxious song to teach children. I feel like that's just a mistake. That's like teaching them 99 bottles of beer on the wall, or the song that never ends. That's a teacher that hates themselves. Before we left, I maybe just might have set the horses loose. Well, I sang about the wheels earlier. Messia. Alright, everyone get off. We're at the smallest destination today. Wind Waker's Hyrule. Yes, that's right, we're not visiting the Great Bay because that's not Hyrule Field. But under the water is flooded Hyrule. And this is kind of all we can see of it. Golly, I wish I could explore this Hyrule Field. I really do. But yeah, it's under the water, and we are kind of limited to only being able to explore the castle and the path that leads to where Ganon hangs out in a small cave nearby. Impressive the grass is still green outside of the time dilation. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it feels like it's kind of just been trapped in its own world. Under the sea, you know, in air quotes, really kind of just means they just, like, wrapped water around Hyrule. Like, you don't like something, so you just put a bowl over it, you know? Miss Twiins, that castle doesn't look structurally safe. I know. You know, I thought about how interesting this is. This looks a lot like how the castle looks in Tears of the Kingdom. Being kind of segregated onto its own little, like, islet like this. Yeah, it doesn't look structurally safe. I also like how many roofs it has for no fucking reason. They figured out how to make pointed ceilings, and they were like, fuck yes, I need 17 of these. That's how I'm pronouncing my name from now on. That's how you know you gain 1 heart of friendship with Twiins when I start pronouncing your name incorrectly. Why call you George when I can call you Gorg? You explore flooded Hyrule Field. You found 5 rupees and nothing else. Yeah, it's true. But look at how pretty this is. Look at how the grass looks so nice. And look at there's like a beach over there, and like over here too. Honestly, this looks like crap you could explore in Pokemon Snap. Isn't that a weird pull? But like the new Pokemon Snap, I feel like there's a beach that looks exactly like this. So headcanon, Pokemon Snap, new version, takes place in Wind Waker's Hyrule. Because fuck it, why not? No one can stop me. No one can prove me wrong. I still find it funny how in Waker, the Zora, the fish people, evolved into Rito, bird people who can't swim. It is true. It is implied that happened. I've always thought it was because the Great Sea was, like, uninhabitable. Outside of the fishmen, who feel like evolutions of the original types of Zoras. Do you remember how Zoras used to look, like in, like, A Link to the Past? Before they became water elves, they were really kind of just like fishmen. And so I like to think that there was like a divergence in evolution. And Zoras either became the Rito, so that they could live above the water, because the water was not habitable, or they evolved into fishmen, returning to their saltwater form. I like to believe that it's saltwater Zoras and freshwater Zoras. And that the fishmen, I like that they are an evolution of the saltwater Zoras that we originally saw in, like, A Link to the Past. That's my headcanon. Isn't it fun? Another 10 trillion rupees to alien rooftops. Miss Twiins, what is the exchange rate for rupees compared to the euro? It's 10 to 1. So for every 10 rupees, that's 1 euro. So now you know. Tour Guide Twin teaches us theory of evolution. I mean, it's the best fun fact I have. There were no fun facts for Wind Waker. There were some, like, and that's the problem. It's like, because this is all we get, you know? Obviously, there's nothing to say about this Hyrule. And I thought about looking up a map. I don't have a map for this one, because this is all we get. There is no map of Hyrule. And I thought about grabbing a map of the Great Bay, so we can kind of maybe, like, you know, figure out, like, the mountains. Because that's the thing. All the islands are really mountains of Hyrule. That's the implication, at least. But then I was like, no, that sounds boring. Because I don't mean, like, marking the map. And I was like, nah, man, I just want to look at fields and be like, this one looks pretty. And this one does look pretty. I'm going to say, objectively, this looks like the prettiest, funnest Hyrule to explore, and we don't get to explore it. This makes me feel the same way how Jak 1 makes me feel. Shout out to Zero, the hero, for being the only person who's gonna care that I said that sentence. Jak 1, like that opening beach level, like it's got the same kind of really vibrant green, And it just makes your heart want to explore. That crappy early PlayStation 2, like, cartoon flavored collectathon bullshit that's like, fuck yeah, baby. I'm ready to dedicate a whole Saturday to this. 10 out of 10. Nice cliff into water. Can we jump in the water? Everyone can jump in the water once. And then you have to dry yourself off before we get on the bus. Let's fucking go. So everyone, do your jumps. Here, I'll also jump in the water. Here. Let's see how good this looks. Yup. Didn't look horrifying at all. Golly. You know, bonus factoid. So I'm having a great time. I'm having fun. I want an Oculus or some other VR headset so that I can interact in the third dimension and actually be able to move without having to slide myself across the screen like that, you know? So at some point I'll be in the third dimension and slightly less jank, but as it is, I'm impressed that we can do this. I'm gonna eat a fish. If you eat a fish, you need to share your snack with me. Everyone get on the bus. On the bus, on the bus, on the bus. Make sure you dry off before you get on the bus. If you are wet while on the bus, I will fine you $10. So make sure you're dry, unless you want to give Twiins money. I don't extort snacks. I get paid in them. So yeah, what a fun one. I like Wind Waker a whole dang lot, and I'm glad. That's 100 rupees. Yeah, easy. So, you know, and you think it's cheap? You think it's cheap to refurbish these bus seats? Why do you think they all look like total ass? Because it's too expensive to refurbish them. You're water phobic. You do not need to jump in the water if you don't have to. You can if you want. But then you must become dry. My fish. Okay, so I got distracted talking to a Zora girl, and now I'm engaged to Princess Mifa. What do I do now? Nice fan fiction! Nice self-insert fan fiction, Black Swordsman. Way to go. Oh, I accidentally got married to the super cute fish girl. Yeah, and also her brother Sidon came up to me and was like, let's also get married. So clearly our course of action is to have a double wedding. We gotta find the coolest spot to get married in. I think Twiins is putting a tax on snacks. If I could, I would. I think the seats look like ass because you take payment in form of food. Well, I don't manage the bus. Don't question it. Just give me your money, give me your food, and have fun. Accidentally, yeah. Woe is me. Best girl wants to marry me. Listen, self-insert. I respect a person who's willing to just do self-insert shipping. I do it all the time. That's why I have so many husbandos, you see. You know, fun fact, I've been playing Fields of Mystria. This is me leaning on the seat. I've been playing Fields of Mystria, and I really don't know who I'm going to romance between March and Baylor. I'm struggling to figure it out, but we'll see. Anyway, on to the next location, everyone. Off the map. Not off the map. Off the bus. Twilight Princess. I'm one of the funnest Hyrules to explore, I think. Honestly, it is the Hyrule that I wish Ocarina of Time Hyrule really was. It is easy, and especially because there's so many different modes of transportation in Twilight Princess. Whether you're on horse, on foot, on wolf foot. Hyrule in Twilight Princess feels so big and so explorable. The grass is kind of a hideous color. Everything was sort of this palette when this game came out. The grass is much like Ocarina, actually. It looks like sun-baked. But the trees are thriving, so, you know. Yeah, grass that feels like you would step on it and it would crunch, you know? It wouldn't be that nice, like, shh, shh, shh. And instead it'd be shh, 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 as you walk through the crusty, dry, dead grass. There's Hyrule Castle, you can see behind me. Pretty, isn't it? It's nice. I feel like you even rarely get to see Hyrule Castle looking like nice like this. Usually it's got the pyramid of protection that Zant puts over it in order to, you know, initiate phase 2 of the game. But yeah, pretty neato stuff. Yami Yugi. Twins, you found my magic poker equation and used your card to expose my heart. Please allow me to worship you forever. I actually did not. That's one of the very few. I need water. Hang on. Not too late for the field trip. Welcome, Jordan. Don't worry, you don't need a buddy anymore because we're not in Termina. You can hold hands with someone if you want, though, if you ask politely. Fun fact about Yami Yugi. I actually don't ship myself with him. He's one of the very few characters that I actually ship with someone else in canon. Taya, is that her name? I don't, you know, Girl Chan. Yeah, they had like that one episode where they went on a date and they did DDR, and I was like, OTP, they're in love. So, yeah, I like Kaiba, though. Kaiba's cool. Everyone's got a crush on Kaiba. I did self-insert shipping by having a crippling weakness to redheads. To redheads after reading Spider-Man comics. Yeah, we can tell, Zero. How I accidentally got married to a super hot ruler, and now my wallet can't fit all these gold coins, and my diamond-encrusted slippers don't fit. Feels like an isekai. The grass tastes wrong. Yeah, it is wrong. There's no pesticides, but it's not nutritionally valuable in any way. But yeah, this Hyrule, you can see that we've, you know, now that we've kind of made it past the our little side quest of not quite Hyrules, comparing this to Ocarina of Time, you know, we've got more forestry going on, but it's still really, they're taking field quite literally. And that's nice. It's nice that they're learning how to do field in a way that is cohesive and without feeling barren. What a crappy map. I hate this map. God damn, look at that. I can't read this. This is what it looks like in-game. And it's, you know, it gets the job done technically. But, like, where's the personality? What's a mountain? They designate water by making it slightly more blue. And I can see Hyrule Castle in the center there. But what is a forest? What is a field? What is a mountain? Terrible. A terrible map. Slightly blue. It's slightly blue. Slightly more blue than the rest of the brown. And then also, what's all this in the bottom? We've got a compass for no reason. And we've got like also everything's labeled in Hylian, which love the characterization there. Useless for someone like me, a real person who does not fucking read Hylian. What is this? You can read Gray Blob Twins. It's just, what a terrible map. So it makes it difficult to discuss. I remember that up north is where the Zora's domain has transitioned, and to the east, so way over there, past Hyrule Castle, is Death Mountain. So they've swapped places in relation to Ocarina of Time, which is fascinating. I don't remember what this thing, this right here, this like right here on the west, that's all Gerudo Desert. So that's always been there and continues to be there. It almost feels like, again, it's like it's outside the normal purview of the rest of Hyrule. Perhaps because it is not related to the monarchy established by Zelda and the Hylian family. Hylian royal family, but also maybe because it is unconnected to the Golden Goddesses. Some combination of the two. I assume. The forest is down there to the south, as it kind of always has been. But yeah, for the most part, it feels like the topography compared to Ocarina of Time, which clearly Twilight Princess wants to be just like cool big bro Ocarina. So it kind of feels like the whole topography kind of just like shifted to be more, kind of like straight in the cardinal directions, as opposed to, north, east, south, and west. Kind of Termina-esque in a way. But that is completely ruined by the Zora's Domain and Death Mountain completely shifting places in the map. So, isn't that fascinating? The fan-made maps have more personality, I bet. But I wanted to use the, official ones, I like how the castle is the most highlighted thing. I know, for no real good reason either. I guess it's easy to spot, but, man, it does look like a digestive tract. Oh my gosh, you're right. It does. It really does. You're so right. That has been in my brain, like, as a shadow of a thought all my life. And you've said it out loud, and you've formed it into reality. It does look like an intestine. You're so right. This is a stomach. We're in a stomach. What'd you miss? We've gone to a good handful of Hyrule Fields, but we're on Twilight Princesses right now. Fun stuff. All poo flows from Zora's Domain, and it exits in the forest with the Deku Tree and the Temple of Time. I was like, Sword of Secrets, and I'm like, that is not what it's fucking called itself. So actually, that could be an interesting thing to theorize. While it feels topographically very similar to Ocarina of Time, despite being shifted slightly, and then Zora's Domain and, the mountains shifting places, something I always thought is because down south down there, you've got the Deku Tree, or at least the hints of what once was a Deku Tree, and the Master Sword. The Temple of Time is down there. And so that had me thinking that what if actually all this map is nothing at all related to Ocarina of Time's map, and that all of Ocarina of Time is actually a comparatively quite small area, and basically the Deku Tree sort of took over, the general Hyrule field as we knew it, and which included engulfing the Hyrule Castle and the Temple of Time at Kakariko, or Hyrule Castle Town Market. And then everything else, the map here, developed away from the forest that had become overgrown with time. I don't know. An interesting thought. I need water. This is actually Termina. Dun dun dun! Twilight Princess fun facts. This is interesting. It's actually got a couple. So, first fact, this is currently the only game that does not have any Octoroks in it. Isn't that crazy? The only Zelda game, obviously. But, yeah. And you think about it, and it's like, oh. Yeah, you don't fight any Octoroks in this. Which is it's interesting that it's the only one. Like, Octoroks are a Zelda staple, but I don't know, it just feels like they shouldn't be in every game. But they are. Except for this one, which is pretty dang nifty. Also, this is the first game where Link gets an instrument that is not necessary for beating the game, for defeating evil. That instrument is the whistle he uses to call Epona. You can also theoretically, actually, I think you have to get it, just like the story kind of leads you towards getting it, but on a theoretical, you don't need it. As long as you have the horse grass, you can whistle for Epona in specific locations. The game also establishes fast travel. Midna can teleport you. More often than not, I'm teleporting with Midna. Most of all this crap up here, everything north of the castle town, everything north, Epona basically cannot traverse. She cannot make it to the snow fields with Yeto and Yetta. And everything else is like Zora's Domain. It's all like water and mountains. Bringing Epona is completely useless. So she's really only like, and she cannot make it to the desert. The desert is separated, you might notice. You need to be rocketed to the desert through a cannon, because the game's a little quirky, and I do respect that. So basically, Epona is only useful... Who's texting me? It's Allison. She... Epona is only useful in, like, the southern region and the eastern region. And even then, only part of the eastern region, because fucking Death Mountain is also over there. She cannot climb Death Mountain. So, Epona is a great addition, but objectively not actually useful. She's more of a narrative element than, like, a gameplay element in this game, which is pretty fascinating. Burn the tree? No, that's Dad. Protect the tree. Just reminding you she loves you. Actually, what she was doing. So, I mentioned this, that everyone can get on the bus, get back on the bus, get back on the bus. We can head on out to the next location, as I regale you with my little fun fact about my good friend Allison. So, the factoid is that, I've mentioned this before, but, at the store I spotted Hershey Kisses, but they're, like, collabing with Pokemon. So the Hershey Kiss looks like a little Pokeball, which is so cute. And if you look at the bottom of the Kiss, it's got a Pokemon on the bottom. And what we've been doing is we'll both grab a Kiss blindly, and we look at the bottom, and we see what Pokemon we get, and we figure out who would win in a Pokemon battle. So for example, I pulled Farfetch'd. Damn. And then Allison got Nidoking. So obviously Nidoking would win that. And I'm fairly certain Allison has won all but one of our little Hershey Kiss battles. And then also you get to eat a Hershey Kiss. So nice. But today I got Voltorb. And so I texted her a picture of Voltorb. And she was texting me that she hopes we both got Voltorb. What is a Hershey Kiss, Ranger? I'm going to assume you are Canadian or European. So, Hershey's Kisses. They're just a little, basically like a little pellet of chocolate. And very small, just a little chocolate bite. They're called Kisses because word on the street is that the machine that, like, kind of omits the chocolate onto the conveyor belt looks like it's kissing it out. Kind of a deal. That's the word on the street. You can Google it to get a good gander at what they look like. But yeah, it's just a little chocolate. A little chocolate piece. You see them a lot around the holidays around here, actually. I need to blow my nose. Hang on. Yo, what? That's awesome. I know. Isn't it cool? Let me blow my nose. Other facts about Twiins happening right now. I've got a figure that should be coming in the not too distant future. One of my anime figures. And it's set to release this month. And I still haven't gotten, like, the, alright, time for you to pay for shipping, notification. And I feel like the last 3 figures I've ordered, all 3 of them, was like, actually we're delayed for a month. And it's annoying because even though I'm gonna be spending that money anyway on the figure, you spend the money when it ships, not when you make the pre-order. And so I'm like ready to spend all that money. And so even though I will anyway, I get it in my head I can't buy other things until I actually pay for the figure. And it's like, I need towels. And it's like, yeah, but I gotta spend money on my figurine. And it's like, so I finally just bought myself towels. So I've got towels coming in the mail. Yippee. But, yeah. Oh, also, dipshit dummy, holding my water instead of the microphone. I hope you heard that fun story. Because I was fucking goddamn miles away from you. Miss Twiins, I left my backpack at the first area. That sucks, bro. Too bad. Twiins gets P-Dub and Allison gets Arceus. For real, though. Oh, the chocolate. I thought you were talking about something else. No, Hershey's Kisses. It's what... Bonus fact! I think I've told this on stream, but this is a great story. One time, I meant this so innocently. It was like the last day at school or something. It was like a little party in the theater department. We were just having fun, eating snacks, not doing schoolwork, and I was like, oh, kisses, nice. And I ate a kiss, and then I was like, oh, I should let me go ask somebody if they want one. I approach, and we'll call this guy Ted. And I go, Ted, I meant it so innocently. I was really just trying to give him treats. I was like, Ted, do you want a kiss? He taps his cheek. I give him a peck on the cheek, and then I open my hand to reveal a Hershey's Kiss, and he took it, and then we didn't talk about it again. We heard the echoes of a story. Basically, I've got a figure coming, and it still hasn't come yet, and I think it's going to be a month late, because they all seem to show up a month late these days. Anyway, let's get off the bus. Whoops. Everyone get back on the bus. Do not fall into the void. Okay, now we can get off the bus. Man, Ted was probably so shocked. I don't know. Ted was, he handled it well. A chill guy, for the most part. But, the worst part is just because we just didn't talk about it, I never got the chance to explain myself. The Void. Yeah, sorry about the Void there. Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. It's the same Hyrule. Really? Tears of the Kingdoms is more interesting by virtue of having a goddamn billion caves suddenly crop up. And I also like Tears of the Kingdom as a game better. So, this is technically Tears of the Kingdom's Hyrule. And it's gorgeous. What a Hyrule field. We've really figured out how to make a field feel like a field. Finally, look at this. The grass is alive. The grass is luscious and beautiful and just swell. And what's really nice is we've got this topography that we've consistently had across the Zeldas. You know, we've got all these mountains and we've got some forests. But it all feels like a cohesive environment now. No longer do we have the very video gamey, suddenly you're in a desert. Instead, the different environments are separated by mountain ranges or water, kind of more natural divisions to separate the different types of environments you can encounter in this Hyrule field. Because, quite frankly, that's vast. I count this as Hyrule Field, kind of the pretty green shit that's near Kakariko and, Castletown, that kind of area. The center of the map, if you will. But there's lots, it's hard to differentiate where Hyrule Field ends outside of looking at literal labels on the map sometimes. Finally, delicious grass. It is quite flammable, and that's a good thing. Here's the map. I hate this map. It's just like how we talked about with Twilight Princess. Where's the personality? What the heck? This is a terrible, it's also not even that easy to navigate in-game. Often I find myself going, where the fuck am I? You end up having to look at, these tiny bodies of water, around to try to suss out where the fuck anything is. Looks like a Far Cry 2 map. Okay, so I got to attend my wedding with Mifa right now, so I gotta venture off. Alright, well, congratulations. Hope you get lots of presents for your wedding. Professor Twiins, this green walking leaves just gave me something golden. This green walking leaf gave me something golden. It looks like a kiss. Should I eat it? You'll notice that it actually reeks. That's a canon element, because it's poop. That is Korok poop. And actually the rancid smell is acknowledged in the item description. Well, fun factoid. So eat it if you want, but we will have to make you throw it up later. Food, water, atmosphere. I want to join the Gorons. You can do whatever you want in your free time. Professor Twiins. I just got done talking to a Gerudo girl, and now I'm on a date with Urbosa, and she's talking about marriage. What do I do? Write it out in your fanfiction.net account. You know? But look at this map. Okay, so mountainous. I do like that dimension is designated with value in terms of color. The whiter areas are higher up, and the darker areas are lower down. It makes it clear how deep things are, but it's impossible to tell how diverse this environment really is, which blows. Like, for example, we've got this mountain right here next to me, and this mountain up here next to me, and that mountain over there, and they're all completely different. This mountain is snowy. That's Hebra Mountain. This is all snow. This one down here, parts of it are snowy, and other parts are baking hot, because this is at the desert area. And then that one over there is a volcano, because that's Death Mountain. And you can't even tell looking at this map. This sucks. Also, I'm sick of these circles. I know Termina kind of established it, but, like, everything's always like this. It's always Hyrule Field, castles in the center, and then all the interesting shits around it. I guess, really, Ocarina of Time established that. And while it works, we don't need a Hyrule Field to act as the buffer between game levels anymore. I'd love for us to explore a more interesting way to approach the format of Hyrule Field. What if Hyrule Castle's the one that's all the way in the north? And then, and then the forest is, like, over there, to the west or whatever. We can play with this a lot more, I think. It makes sense for Twilight, or Tears of the Kingdom and It makes sense for Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild because they are trying to pull from as many different games as possible. I still stand by that it is the coagulation of the timelines. But I'm bored of this layout. What can I say? Yum, delicious water. There's a red point in the volcano. There is a red point in the volcano. My whole argument is moot. There weren't even a whole lot of facts, so there were no trivia. There's no trivia listed for Tears of the Kingdom's Hyrule specifically, but Breath of the Wild has also, so it had trivia, but nothing actually all that interesting. A lot of it's more about gameplay and lore. Important things. But I want to talk about Hyrule Field, so actually, I'm going to discuss something that I think is interesting, which is the rain. So, in Breath of the Wild especially, the rain is asinine. Feels like it rains every other day. And it's a torrential downpour every time, and it's horrible because you can't climb in the rain. It makes the rocks slippy-dippy, and you lose a whole element to the gameplay. 3 out of 10, not enough random-ass caves. And so, but I watched a video once that very smartly went over that rain, and how it actually makes sense, based on the environment of Breath of the Wild, with, it's a generally pretty compact area for this different amount of environments, that it makes sense that there's basically a constant typhoon. This much water plus heat, and ice all right next to each other means that we're lucky that Hyrule still stands. It should be in a permanent state of typhoon tornado bullshittery. So the rain actually makes sense. So while it's annoying, on a technicality, it's accurate. And on a technicality, it's actually going easy on us. Makes the climbing game no longer climbable. Exactly. If you walk along Hyrule Castle, you will see the Lynel in its natural habitat, which is right in front of you, with its sword drawn, ready to skull you. You must be polite to the Lynels. You treat them with respect. You see them, and you go, I don't belong here. And then you leave. You do not enter their home, just like if you spot a bug in your house, you squish it, don't you? You're a bug in their house. Slippy dippy is a technical term. It is. Biomes! Thank you. That's a word I've been trying to remember all fucking stream. I'm like, there's a nature word, but all I could think of was niche. And that was wrong. So thank God someone finally said the word biomes. Miss Twiins, Hyrule kind of sounds like a bad place to live. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. But look at how pretty it is. Look at that. Goddamn. Wow. So yeah, everyone, let's get back on the bus and we can make our way back to home. This was our final destination today. So let's all clamber on back onto the bus and get back home. I've sat it down. I've been standing this whole time. I mean, whoa. There we go. Hang on, let me just smudge myself around a little bit. Great, okay. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and Can we take Link with us? Link is always with us. He's in my basement. You would know that if I removed your blindfold sometimes. I'll take the Lionel home. Miss Twiins. Sure, Hyrule regularly gets overtaken by a brutal dictator, but look at how pretty the grass fields are. The grass fields are gorgeous. And that brutal dictator is Smash. So what can I say? Got a pocket full of grass. I'm glad you got yourself plenty of grass. But yeah, let's schnoodle boodle off the bus now that we've made it back home. Yippee! What a fun field trip. Did you all... I've got a mouthful of grass. Did you all have fun? I had fun. I thought of this and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so much fun. You guys know I like being creative on stream like this. I wish my 3D stuff was a little bit more advanced, so I can move around slightly easier, but I had a grand old time. Yeah, I found a lot of pretty flowers in Breath of the Wild. Hell yeah. Twiins overstayed its rental time. Found this purple mask. We've picked up so many things, it seems. Thank goodness. I forgot to get my parents to sign the waiver. That's alright. I signed the waiver. May I eat the plant? No, that's Doug. That's my friend Doug. That's a good guy. Yippee! What a great stream! I had a lot of fun. I'd love to do more field trips, and I had so much fun making the field trip like permission slip as well. And I've got that saved, so we can absolutely do more field trips. Hell yeah! That's right, I signed the waiver. It's some Miss Frizzle behavior. Doug is also a man sometimes. May I eat the cake? The cake is what you guys exist on. 'Cause you're sprinkles. Did you ever get that? I wonder how many people understood that, 'cause you guys are my sprinkles. Where has Doug gone? Golly, he's always somewhere. Somewhere hiding away in my files. There he is. There's Doug. There's Doug in human form. So, oh wow. But he is currently a plant. People on plant-based diets are not allowed near Doug. They can get near Doug, but keep in mind, Doug is a carnivore, you know? Doug can fight back. Met another Korok. This one was bigger than the others, and he gave me a triple-tiered golden kiss. Wow! Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Okay, time for your pop quizzes, Will. Pop quiz! Here's some, feel free to just call out your answers. let's see how well you all were paying attention. What was most notable? What was missing from Zelda 1's Hyrule Field? If you were paying attention, you would know. Also, I stumbled across the deity mask. What does it do? Oh, nothing special. Not for you. The castle. Correct! Black Swordsman gets a point. Whoever gets the most points will get a reward. So, now you gotta be fast. You gotta be fast on it. Oh shit, it's the castle. A castle. Good job. You gotta be fast and correct. Next question. In A Link to the Past's Hyrule, what was one of the things it introduced to the gameplay? It introduced 3 different things in terms of the Zelda lore. Do you remember what they were? 2 of them were related to the environment, and one of them, pink hair, is not correct. Yes, Black Swordsman gets another point. Kokiri, or Kakariko, like Hylia, and Ganondorf's names were all established in Link to the Past. Isn't that fun? How about in Ocarina of Time? Actually, there were no fun facts about Ocarina of Time. Everyone can tell me what your favorite dungeon is on Ocarina of Time. There is no points to collect on this one. I just want to know. Across all the dungeons, what's my favorite? It's such a lame answer, but really, Deco Tree. Deco Tree is such a cool dungeon. And such a good tutorial for entering the 3rd dimension. It's really great. Spirit, Desert, B, Water Temple, the one where you struggled on like crazy. I think there were like 4 of those. Hedged my bet on the question being about pink hair. Spirit Temple does use the time travel aspect in a really interesting way. Majora's Mask. Okay. What did Majora's Mask introduce to the forest for the series? Haven't played any Zelda outside of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so I can't answer. That's a right 0. Fascinating. I do wonder how much you would like other Zeldas, because Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are quite different from most Zeldas. I wonder if you would be annoyed by the linearity, or if you would think it's an interesting change of pace. That's curious. It is monkeys! Coral Palette gets a point. Yeah, the monkeys were introduced into the forest in Majora's Mask. Well done. Great answers, all of you. Twilight Princess. What is not featured in Twilight Princess and only in Twilight Princess? Something is in every other Zelda game so far, except for Twilight Princess. What was it? Only played Ocarina of Time and didn't even beat it. Ocarina can be hard. Listen, I love Ocarina of Time. It took me like 17 years to beat that game. Turning to a wolf mechanic is technically right, but not the thing we're looking for. Zelda, no, Zelda is in Twilight Princess. Mace? No, that's also a weapon in Link to the Past on a technicality. A furry. Octoroks Pyra is correct. There are no Octoroks in Twilight Princess, and it's the only game that does not have any Octoroks. So, well done. Way to go, you. And those are all the questions I have. So Black Swordsman does win the quiz. You got the most points, I believe. Way to go, Black Swordsman. You can request one phrase out of me. I'll say something appropriate, and I'll say it into the mic for you. So whatever cool thing you want to hear me quote, then we'll do it. Sounds fun. I think I'm failing this test. You all had better be thankful that this was a collaborative effort on your part. Won the quiz, the Fish Princess, and marriage. Goddamn, yeah. You get what's left of your snacks back. That is also true. I think you gave me the empanada. I'll give you the empanada. That's a good prize. I like to think so. If the 3D was a little bit better, then I would have done like a cool motion for you. But it would have been jank, let's be honest. I ate grass. Today is a good day. While Black Swordsman figures out what he'd like for me to say, I'll also take a moment to remind everyone that we are getting towards the end of the submission period for the Summer Teto event. That's August 8th. That is the final day you can submit for that. So, I know plenty of you have been meaning to get a submission in. So keep in mind that you are running out of time. So yeah, there you go. and remember, the thing we're judging is the design, not the quality of the art. So don't worry about being like, well, I'm not very good at drawing. That's okay. That's always okay. The important part is to have fun. Can't think of one. Let's get a classic. How about a good old fun? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Everyone ready? Oh, golly. Oh, golly. Oh, golly. I no longer mean to submit because I did already. I'll have to check out Blue Sky because that seems to be where you tend to post your art these days. So I'll have to make sure I check that out. How exciting. Got distracted by my own characters. Yeah. What's the event? Alright, Cupcake Demon. So, the event is, and I'll post it here in chat as well. So, you know how Snow Miku works? You know how we've talked about, have I not said golly in forever? Easiest way to make me say golly, bonus fact, compliment me. I don't know how to react, and so I just go, oh golly. Like a genuine compliment, oh golly. But, Cupcake, so, you know how Snow Miku works? How, people submit designs, and then those get voted on, and then that is the new look for Snow Miku every year? That's what we're doing. I wanted you guys to submit submit designs for Teto, which is basically a free voice bank compared to Miku. And we're doing summer instead of winter because that's fun. And you can submit a design for Teto. The theme is summer. Whatever you want to do that feels like summer to you, you can submit a design. My only stipulations is here's a link to a Twitter post that will kind of gives you a full version of this this banner I've got up here, so you can read out all the ways, all the different rules and stuff. The only real rule is I just need a reference of the design from the front and from the side, so I can see it clearly. And it needs to be in color, and that's it. You can use whatever medium you want. You want to color it with crayons? Hell yeah, do it. Summer outfits for Miku, but it's Teto. Free Miku. So yeah, that's the event, and we're going to vote on a winner. If I only get a few submissions, the panel of judges will choose a winner. If I get enough that I think it can be warranted, then the panel of judges will narrow it down, and then you guys get to vote on a winner. So that depends on how many submissions we get. And then also I'll make a song featuring your design in the a music video as well. So really, you're competing to get a free commission out of me, where I draw your design. So yeah, and that's kind of it. The biggest thing is to have fun. So, and yeah, submissions end on August 8th. So you have a decent amount of time, a little over a week or so. So yeah. I've been switching between oh golly and aw shucks. Twiins, this stream was incredibly creative and engaging. You are a credit to Twitch streamers and a joy to your fan base. Oh golly. That was a good one. Oh, your plant character. Okay. No, wait, what do you mean? No, I want the designs for Teto. For her. For, her? Her with the red hair? Make a summer outfit for her. Hell yeah. And yeah. Yippee. Twins, you're twinsing today. Oh, I tried. Mine's almost done. That's also exciting. Did I send you the right link? I think I did. I should have. Yeah, looks like it. So yeah. A yippee. A wahoo. Yes, I did. Okay, good. But that's all I have planned for you today. Pretty fun stuff. You sent us smut. I know it's because of the tech, but it kind of looks like you're about to lose it with how much your eye twitches. I know. This is why I actually have my, 2D VTubers. I have it set so that I cannot wink. Because I don't want, a goofy eye like that. Want to hear a theory I got? Yeah, we can send off stream with a theory. Let's hear it. Eye twitch has been really funny. What's a bummer is actually that's my my bad eye. It's because last night I woke up in screaming pain because my eye had dried out. And today it's been all blurry and not able to open all the way. So thanks. That's part of the reason why it's all twitchy, because it's a little bit like that IRL. That also, but if you turn your head in a certain way, sometimes the camera doesn't want to see you properly. My glasses also probably are blocking the camera's view and makes it difficult to tell if my eye is open or not. Okay, it goes like this. The horrors beyond our comprehension is just nothing. I say that because we can't comprehend nothing, so what if this terrifying thing that drives us crazy is nothing? I don't know, I feel like I can comprehend nothing pretty well. I'm thinking about nothing right now. And it's just a little boring. I wouldn't call it scary. I think it's an interesting theory. I expected it to be related to Zelda, I'll be honest. But neat. Well, now I feel bad. That's okay. I know that my eye is not right. And it's more annoying than anything. I don't like having a dry eye like this. No, the eye adventure has not come to an end. Here's the problem. I've got these eye patches that are basically like big band-aids that I've been wearing at night to cover one eye, and it's to keep it closed. The problem eye. And they have predominantly been working, but I guess last night I just didn't apply it right or something, because it did not do its job right, and yeah, I woke up with, here's the thing, have you ever had your eye water so much, but it's not crying? You've got, like, water drizzling down your cheek. You're not crying, but it's your eye watering, trying to dry itself and remove something from itself. But the thing it's trying to remove is actually just your eye. Have you ever had that? It's fascinating. And it's so warm as well, because it's watering, and it's like a warm water, and so it feels like blood. Yeah. And every time I'm like, is this blood? And it's not, it's water. So yeah, this is a little fact about something that can happen with your dang old eye. So I've got dry eyes, and I've been trying to figure out how to make it so that it's not like this for the rest of my life. Sorry, I heard a noise. Time for twins to wear an eye patch. I know, for real. I've ordered also for myself like a sleep mask, to basically do the same thing, but without having to apply a sticker, like a full-ass band-aid to my eye every night. I've also got an eye patch, actually, right here. You can't see it, but I've got one. It's awfully tight, and it's way more conical than I expected, so haven't been wearing that, because I feel like I wouldn't be able to sleep in that. It squeezed all my brains out, and it's too tight. I can't, like, adjust it. But yeah, I've ordered an eye patch, or an eye mask, and I'm hoping that works. Yippee. I think that's a byproduct of looking at screens. So I've done some research. So first of all, my cornea is growing in a cone shape, which isn't helping. And also, basically, my eyes are dry. That's not related to looking at screens. It's the, like, environment, I'm fairly certain. I've just got dry eyes. And that's okay, but the thing is that, like, the edge of my eye is bumpy. That's what happens when you get dry eyes. They, instead of being nice and smooth, it, like, gets bumpy. And because of that, my eyelid cannot close properly at night. So my eyelid is ridged, and that is preventing it from being able to close fully at night. And so that's why air is getting into my eyelid, despite, my eye is closed while I'm trying to sleep. I can see no difference, I feel no different, but air is able to get in because it is ridged and not being able to close properly. So I've been working on this. I've been taking water drops. I've got fake tears to lube up my eyes, and they've been helping, and it's been getting better. And then very suddenly last night, it all came crumbling back down, and it's annoying. And if it keeps going, I might go to a doctor, but I just don't know if they could actually do anything about it, other than be like, yeah, your eyes are dry, you're doing everything you can already. So yeah, yippee, that's what's going on with Twiins Inc. So thanks for being here for the field trip. I had a lot of fun. Really enjoyed field tripping with you guys. Had so much fun getting to stand in front of the screen and point and feel like a weather woman. I think that's fun to do. So thanks for being here, because I was really looking forward to it. So it's nice that you all showed up and you wanted to play with me, as it were, to play along. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I'll go back to doing some work, I suppose. Always got, videos to script and edit and stuff. But yeah, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Make smart choices. Drink your vegetables, eat your water. And goodbye!